What if the moment your eyes close for the final time, the darkness doesn't lead to an end, but to a vivid, undeniable confrontation with everything you've ever felt and done? Imagine standing on the edge of a vast, invisible map where your social status, your bank account, and your earthly excuses evaporate, leaving only the raw frequency of your conscience to decide your next destination. In that absolute transition, there is no longer a mask to wear or a secret to hide, for the spirit is stripped of its earthly titles and left only with its vibratory reality. Allan Kardec, working with the methodical precision of a cosmic surgeon, mapped this transition not as a mystical mystery, but as a scientific progression of the soul across various spheres of existence. He revealed that our destiny is not determined by a judging deity on a distant throne, but by the weight of our own actions and the frequency of our moral development. Most individuals fantasize about a generic heaven or fear a burning hell, but the reality is far more organized and purposeful, consisting of 7 distinct categories of worlds. Each category serves as a specific classroom or hospital designed to accommodate the spirit's current level of evolution. As we stand on this unseen threshold, we must realize that our current life is the forge where our eternal destination is shaped. To ignore this is to walk blindly toward a horizon that will eventually demand a full account of every thought, intention, and deed performed in the body. The storytelling of our eternal life begins long before the heart stops beating. It is written in the silence of our daily choices. The first step in the grand ladder of spiritual evolution is found in the primitive worlds, which serve as the very cradle of conscious existence. According to the teachings channeled through Kardec, these are planets where life is rudimentary and the spirit has only recently emerged from a state of semi-unconsciousness. Imagine beings that are essentially newborns of the cosmic mind, having spent eons in lower forms of life and now finding themselves for the first time with the spark of individual free will. In these worlds, the struggle for survival is the primary catalyst for growth. The inhabitants act almost entirely on instinct, yet within that raw struggle, the first lessons of distinguishing between the self and the other begin to take root. Kardec describes these souls as engatinhando, or crawling, on the first steps of an infinite staircase. There is no refined morality here, only the initial friction required to wake the soul from its long slumber. These primitive worlds are essential laboratories where God allows consciousness to desabrochar, or bloom under the hard conditions of nature. The spirits incarnated there do not have a sense of complex evil or virtue. They are simply learning to navigate the physical world and the most basic concepts of cause and effect. Many spirits currently appearing on Earth originated in these primitive environments, representing the newest additions to our planet's diverse spiritual population. They bring with them a raw energy that, while often violent or simple, is a necessary phase in the long journey toward ultimate purification. We must face the sobering truth that our planet, Earth, is far from a paradise or a resting place. It belongs to the second category, known as the worlds of expiation and trials. Allan Kardec made it explicitly clear that our existence here is a form of spiritual incarceration, where we come to resolve karmic debts and undergo rigorous tests of character. Every hardship we encounter, be it a chronic illness, a fractured family, or systemic injustice, is not a random occurrence of bad luck, but a meticulously planned component of our spiritual education. We are here because our current vibratory state requires the resistance of this heavy material atmosphere to refine our internal imperfections. Think of the Earth as a massive, interdimensional school where the lessons are often painful because the soul has been stubborn in its previous errors. Before we were born, we essentially signed a cosmic contract, agreeing to face specific tribulations that would force us to develop virtues like patience, humility, and unshakable faith. When we complain about our lot in life, we are often complaining about the very medicine we chose to take to cure our spiritual maladies. This world of trials serves to burn away the dross of ego and pride through the fire of experience. It is a necessary friction. Just as a diamond is polished through intense pressure, the human soul is polished through the relentless challenges of earthly life. We are surrounded by other spirits who are equally scarred and struggling, which creates a complex web of social interaction designed to test our ability to love, under the most difficult conditions imaginable. One of the most terrifying revelations provided by the spirit world through Kardec is the existence of the umbral, a dense vibratory region that acts as a spiritual limbo for those unable to detach from the physical realm. This is not a world in the physical sense, but a state of being where the air feels like lead and the mind is trapped in its own shadows. It is the destination for spirits who, upon death, remain obsessed with their earthly properties, their unfinished vengeances, or their physical addictions. These souls do not ascend because they are literally too heavy, weighed down by the density of their own material thoughts. Kardec documented that a vast majority of contemporary humanity remain stuck in this region for significant periods because they have never cultivated a life of the spirit. They wander in a fog of semi-consciousness, often unaware that they have even died, trying to inhabit their old homes or influence their old acquaintances. This creates a state of psychological torment where time seems to stand still and the soul relives its deepest regrets over and over again. It is a region of collective suffering where, like attracts like, grouping together spirits who share similar vibrations of anger, greed, or despair. The only escape from this heavy limb is a sincere internal transformation, a cry for help that signals the soul is finally ready to let go of the illusions of the flesh. Until that moment of surrender occurs, the spirit remains an exile in a wasteland of its own making, watching the world go on without it, while held captive by the chains of its own attachments. Once a spirit finally breaks free from the immediate confusion of death or the density of the umbral, it undergoes a profound assessment that Kardec identifies as a diagnostic review. This is not a dramatic courtroom scene with an angry judge, but a clinical and compassionate analysis performed by high-level spirits who act as cosmic physicians. They look into the energy field of the soul to measure the actual progress made during the recent incarnation. They examine three critical indicators: the level of detachment from material identity, the genuine degree of moral development, and the adaptability shown in the face of spiritual reality. This diagnostic determines the exact environment the soul needs for its next phase of recovery or study. For many, even those who are good by earthly standards, the diagnosis reveals a lingering pride or a hidden selfishness that requires further cleansing. This phase is about transparency. The spirit sees itself as it truly is, without the protection of the physical body's secrets. It is a moment of deep realization where the individual understands exactly why certain trials were failed and where they successfully grew. The results are used to prescribe a plan for the time between lives, which may involve periods of intense study in spiritual colonies or the planning of a new, even more challenging reincarnation. The evaluation is conducted with infinite love, yet it is mathematically precise, ensuring that no soul is placed in an environment that is either too advanced or too regressive for its current state of being. In the spiritual landscape, there are vast networks of rescue teams and dedicated facilities that function as hospitals for the soul. Kardec describes these as places of sublime beauty and profound peace, staffed by spirits who have dedicated their evolution to the service of their suffering brothers and sisters. These rescue teams often enter the dense regions of the umbral to locate spirits who have begun to emit the first signals of repentance or a desire for light. The work is dangerous and difficult, as the vibrations of the umbral are suffocating to higher spirits, yet they endure this for the sake of love. Once rescued, the traumatized spirits are taken to these colonies where they receive vibratory treatment to heal the wounds of their recent earthly life. These hospitals provide a sanctuary where the spirit can slowly regain its clarity and begin to comprehend the laws of the universe. It is a period of convalescence where the soul is nurtured with positive energy and educated on the purpose of its existence. Many of these nurses and doctors are individuals who were loved ones of the rescued spirits in past lives, choosing to delay their own entry into higher worlds to serve as guides for those they care about. This reveals the interconnectedness of all life. No soul is ever truly abandoned. Even the most hardened criminal is offered a place in these spiritual sanatoriums if they show a genuine spark of change. The healing process involves deep psychological reconstruction, helping the spirit to forgive itself and prepare for the eventual return to the field of action through a new birth on Earth or a similar planet. The transition from a world of expiation to a world of regeneration represents a monumental leap in the collective evolution of a planet. According to the spirits that communicated with Kardec, Earth is currently in the late stages of this painful labor, preparing to move into a category where the focus shifts from individual survival to collective fraternity. In a regenerative world, the pervasive shadow of evil begins to lift, not because it has been destroyed, but because the inhabitants have finally realized that cooperation is the only logical path forward. These are transition planets, acting like cosmic recovery centers, where souls are no longer forced into the most brutal trials, but still face the necessity of refining their characters. In this state, the social structures are built on justice and genuine concern for the neighbor. The spirits inhabiting these worlds have graduated from the kindergarten of violence and are now entering the high school of social responsibility. While personal challenges still exist to ensure growth, the overall atmosphere is one of hope and stability. This means that the most primitive and violent spirits currently on Earth will eventually be transferred to other worlds of trials that better suit their density, while spirits of a higher vibration will begin to dominate our population. The current chaos we see in our modern society is actually the final clash between the dying age of expiation and the emerging dawn of regeneration. It is a purifying storm that will leave behind a humanity that understands that to love one's neighbor is not just a religious ideal, but a fundamental law of spiritual physics. Beyond the phase of regeneration lie the happy worlds, or worlds of harmony, where the spirit finally tastes the true potential of existence. In these spheres, the density of the material body is significantly lighter, and the limitations of physical survival are almost non-existent. Allan Kardec describes these environments as places where the ego has been successfully integrated and transcended, leading to a culture where war, hunger, and systemic greed are simply historical relics. The inhabitants of these worlds communicate primarily through thought and live in a state of natural alignment with the laws of nature. Their technological progress is staggering, not because they seek profit, but because they use their intelligence to harmonize their environment and serve the wider universe. In a happy world, education is the highest form of entertainment, and work is a voluntary contribution to the collective welfare. Spirits here have reached a level of maturity where they no longer need to pay debts. They act out of pure love. Reincarnation still occurs, but it is a brief and conscious process, chosen to gain specific insights or to assist in missions to lower worlds. The beauty of these planets is beyond human description, with landscapes that respond to the mental harmony of the residents. These worlds act as the cultural centers of the galaxy, producing the great inspirations that filter down into the minds of earthly artists, scientists, and philosophers. To live in such a place is to live in a continuous state of artistic and intellectual ecstasy, where the presence of God is felt in every interaction and every breath. The sixth category comprises the celestial worlds, inhabited by beings who have transcended the need for physical forms and act as the true governors of the cosmos. These spirits are so advanced that their individual identities are perfectly aligned with the divine will, yet they retain their unique consciousness and wisdom. Allan Kardec received communications indicating that these beings oversee the evolution of entire systems, coordinating the movements of planets and the rebirth cycles of millions of souls. They are the master architects who design the educational paths for lower human societies, ensuring that the balance of justice and mercy is maintained throughout the universe. Their intellect is so vast that they can perceive the past, present, and probable futures of the civilizations under their care, intervening only through subtle shifts in energy or by sending one of their own to act as a world-changing reformist. These celestial inhabitants live in spheres of pure light and vibration, where time as we know it has no meaning. Their existence is one of pure service. They are the intermediaries through which the infinite power of the Creator is channeled and distributed. They do not experience individual suffering, but they feel a profound, compassionate resonance with all living things. Occasionally, a celestial spirit will manifest in a world of trials like Earth, taking on the heavy burden of a physical body to deliver a message of profound spiritual truth, only to return to their radiant home once their mission is complete. They are the silent guardians of our progress, the voices in the heart of every great leader who has ever spoken for the liberation of the human spirit. The final and most sublime destination is the state of the pure spirit, inhabiting what Kardec calls the worlds of pure divinity. This is the end of the long road of individual evolution, where the spirit has achieved total perfection relative to its origin. These beings are the direct ambassadors of the Creator, existing in a state of eternal union with the source of all life. They no longer require any form of material envelope and exist as pure, intelligent energy. Their function is to manage the foundational laws of the entire creation, ensuring that the universe continues to expand and evolve according to the divine plan. In this state, the spirit is omnipresent in its influence, capable of touching the hearts of countless beings simultaneously. The joy they experience is indescriptible, a permanent state of bliss that comes from absolute clarity and absolute love. They have no personal desires, for their only desire is the fulfillment of the cosmic law. Yet they remain intimately aware of the smallest struggle of the newest soul in the primitive worlds. Through their power, they create and dissolve worlds, acting as the hands of God in the material and spiritual dimensions. Kardec reminds us that every single one of us is destined to reach this pinnacle, regardless of how many millions of years or incarnations it may take. We are all potential divinities in the making, sparks of that infinite light that are slowly being polished through the cycles of the seven worlds. This final state is not a loss of identity, but the ultimate expansion of it, where the self becomes one with everything and everyone in a perfect eternal symphony of light. To know where one stands on this map of seven worlds, Allan Kardec emphasizes that we must look for the three infallible signs of spiritual graduation. The first sign is a genuine, effortless capacity for forgiveness. A soul ready to leave the worlds of trials no longer carries the burden of resentment, viewing those who hurt them with the pity one has for a confused child. The second sign is a profound detachment from the allure of material power and status. The individual finds more satisfaction in an anonymous act of charity than in the greatest worldly acclaim, understanding that we take nothing with us but the love we gave away. The third and most definitive sign is a state of permanent interior joy, a peace that is not shaken by the storms of physical life. When an individual can face poverty, illness, or loss with a heart full of gratitude for the lesson, they have demonstrated that they are no longer a slave to the material world. These three signs indicate that the vibration of the spirit has raised enough to resonate with the regenerative or happy worlds. Our current life is a constant testing ground for these signs. Every conflict we face is an opportunity to prove our graduation. If we react with anger, we remain in the current cycle. If we react with love, we unlock the door to the next sphere. Our final destiny is not a destination we find after we die, but a state of being we cultivate while we are still here. The seven worlds are open to all, and the map has been laid out by the labor of Kardec and the spirits of light. Now it is up to each individual to decide which path they will tread through the choices of their current hour. The journey through the seven worlds of Allan Kardec is a profound testament to the logic and mercy of the universe, where no effort is lost and no soul is truly left behind. We are the architects of our own eternity, holding the pen that writes the destiny of our soul with every breath we take. Death is merely a change of clothes, a passage from one room of the Father's house to another, determined solely by the cleanliness and light of our internal garments. As we close this chapter of understanding, let it be clear that the evolution of the spirit is inevitable, but the speed of that evolution is entirely in our hands. The knowledge of these seven destinations should not be a cause for fear, but a source of immense empowerment and peace. We are part of a grand celestial mechanism designed to turn ignorance into wisdom and ego into love. If your life currently feels like a trial, remember that you are in a school of your own choosing, learning the exact lessons you need to move toward a more radiant home. Embrace the challenges, cultivate the three signs of graduation, and trust in the hierarchical spirits that guide your every step. The path to the celestial and divine realms begins here, in the simple kindnesses and silent sacrifices of your daily life. The seven worlds are waiting for you, and the doors are held open by the love of those who have gone before. Your only task is to become worthy of the light that is already shining within you.